Hello, and welcome back to Pleasantview. Today we will rejoin Malcolm Landgraab at Landgraab Industries and continue with that business. And we will also take a look at the restaurant that he has recently started with Goopy GilsCarbo. And of course, the Landgraabs live over here in Pleasantview in their mansion. So we're at the Landgraab mansion, and well, it's morning, and Malcolm is already awake, looks like. So let's just check where he is. Right. So just before this, he sent money to Goopy GilsCarbo so that they could purchase the restaurant. So that's why he's already awake. So that is, of course, a huge investment that he has made recently. So their funds are down a little bit right now, and Malcolm is quite anxious to start up that restaurant business and make sure that it earns a nice profit because so far it's been struggling a little bit. And yeah, Malcolm has planned out for this evening to bring both Dina, his wife, and her sister Nina, as well as his lover Don Lothario, to the restaurant to have some dinner and check it out and see how it's doing. Just support it a little bit and make sure that it's running as it should. He's of course also going to head to work and see what other things he can invest in. And looks like his wife Dina is still asleep, and of course she's unemployed, so she doesn't really have to go up until she finds it necessary to. And then they have their children, so Alba seems to also be asleep still, and she has this want to make out with Hugo, who's she has started to date him. That's Marissa Bendet's son. And her twin Archie is also still asleep, looks like, but they of course had to get out of bed and get ready for school. And Archie has very recently gotten a job in the politics field as a door-to-door poller. So I think he's had one workday so far, and he wants to progress in that line of work. And of course, also his father wants him to be an overachiever. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, so let's start out their day by having Malcolm serve up some breakfast for them. And at least the children can come downstairs to eat with him. So how is your cooking doing? 3 points. Well, let's just make some canapes then. Let's not go overboard. And let's wake up the children. But yeah, I guess Dina can sleep for now. Right, and Malcolm has been sick, looks like. Actually, was he at the hospital? He might have been. Should have a vial of medicine in that case. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm just gonna let it sit there for now. Maybe it is useful in future. Right, and we have some puddles here. I think the puppy maybe isn't housebroken yet. But little Louis is going to age up today into a dog. So we'll get to see what he looks like. And looks like also Archie left that can of soda last night. So gonna have Alba clean it up before they eat. Malcolm, you can just wait a bit until your children are ready as well. They're gonna have a nice family breakfast. Looks like they're starting out talking a bit about science, space and such. But I think that they pretty quickly move on to the subject of their everyday lives and what they get up to. And of course Malcolm knows that Alba has been seeing Hugo Bendet. Marissa has been chatting with Dina on the phone about it, so it's not news to any of them. But of course Malcolm is very curious about his son, if he has been seeing anyone recently. And Archie has actually been I don't know what that is. Let's just delete it for now. He's been seeing a little bit of Hazel Copur actually. So that is Don Lothario's daughter with Ivy Copur. And yeah, that's a bit surprising to Malcolm, seeing as Don Lothario is secretly his lover. Malcolm is gay, but he's not open about it, and he's been seeing Don for many years. But his children, of course, don't know that, so Archie wouldn't know that there's anything odd about seeing Hazel. So I think that Malcolm gets a bit awkward, doesn't really know what to do with that information for now, but at least he's aware right now. So it looks like the children are cleaning up a little bit after breakfast. Malcolm is freshening up, and yeah, he starts work at 9, so he soon has to leave for work as well. But I think that he should have time for a shower, so he's gonna head up here and have a warm shower. Looks like Romeo is blocking Alba from getting away from the table. So let's see if I can change that. Okay, she has to head to school now. Okay, good. The dog moved. Yeah, but it looks like she might still be... Let's see. Because the dog did move, so she should be able to get away from the chair now. But surely now. The dog isn't even in the room now. Yeah, okay, good. So now she can leave for school. Okay, Malcolm has autonomously started to walk towards his car. But, of course, he needs to not drive to work. He needs to go somewhere. And that is to his own community lot, Landgraab Industries. And Malcolm is arriving at work. And yeah, it's been a little while since I was last here. So I'm gonna have to check how everything is working now. So Malcolm successfully arrived in the garage, so that works well. And I think I saw... Let's just turn on all the lights and see how things look. Yeah, that's fine. Someone has left a plate over there. But I think I saw, yeah, so this painting needs to go up a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Because I think I got the Sweet Down Low mod after I built this. And yeah, something else that I've been thinking about with this lot is that there were some issues with the elevators last time I played it, and also when I asked them to have coffee, they wanted to go into Malcolm's office to drink it. So I would need to have some sort of sitting furniture here, I think. And I've decided that I don't want the elevator here, because I think it will be better if Malcolm can go up to his office from the garage, and also, yeah, to have an elevator here for guests to go immediately up to his office. But I think that the workers should not have an elevator to their floor, so they'll have to take the staircase down to the lunchroom. I think that'll work better. So I'm gonna remove this, and I'm gonna go ahead into the elevators and just take this shaft so that they can travel up to the top floor, but not exit here. And that is going to leave some space for some sitting furniture for them to have their coffee, some sort of, yeah, just relaxing area, I guess. So let's pick a nice sofa, or possibly armchairs. Lighting is a little bit odd here, but I think it's fine. So I thought that the lighting was a bit odd in the bathroom. All right, that should do it, I think. And yeah, also the sim blender that I shoved in there. I think I've actually decided that I wanted to be in the entrance area instead. So I guess I'll put it like right next to the entrance door. Because I think it would make sense that the visitors and the workers would actually have to go from the entrance and up to, well, wherever they need to go. So I'm not completely pleased with how that looks. Maybe that's better. Don't I have recolors of this? I do. I don't know why I can't design it when I put it down. That's odd. It's just the pillows that I'm not happy with. Yeah, that looks better, I think. Okay, good. So that should do it then. Gonna have to test it out and see what I think, but I think that'll be better. Yeah. Great. So, well, I probably don't need to have this above those tables because it's so incredibly bright. I think that should be fine. And we need to summon the workers. So I'm gonna bring out the spreadsheet. So we have Laurent Lillard, who's the senior manager. We have Chandler Tellerman, the executive, and Beau, the executive assistant. And then we have Phoenix Gibson, who's a male technician. I thought it was a mailroom technician. Maybe I misspelled it. I'll have to check that later. And then we have Shawn Cameron, who's the legal biller. Yeah, so let's just summon those guys to start off. Right, good. And yeah, they need to wear work outfits as well. So Phoenix is excused from the work outfits because, yeah, the mailroom technician didn't have one, I think. So I'm just gonna have him sit here and work at home. Right, and for business you need charisma. So I guess that fashion and styles is gonna be good for him. Malcolm, you already had your work outfit on, right? Yes, you did. Good. And Lauren needs to have the one for level 6. And I have Tom's clothing tester up here. LaShawn is, of course, in law, and that was level 4. Chandler had level 5. And Beau is level 2. Right, so first thing in the morning, I think that they should gather in the meeting room. No, you don't have to clean that up, Malcolm. So you can go ahead and sit actually in there. Then I'm gonna have all of the others except for Phoenix sit as well. Let's just see how the routing works now. Hopefully better. So it looks like Lauren is struggling a little bit. But I can redo this. Right, so Malcolm had to... I didn't see if he took the elevator or not, but I'm guessing he took the elevator to this floor and then had to take the staircase to the next one. Okay, for some reason there's a visitor here now. I'm gonna assume that this is a reporter of some sort. So the visitor controller should be up here. Yes. So specific sim. Ban Tallinn. Right. And Beau, you can sit down again. That should remove him. Yeah, he's the reviewer. But you're banned, so he's gonna disappear soon. And these guys are gonna have their morning meeting. Right, so they're of course reviewing what they've heard from Goopy GilsCarbo's restaurant so far. And so far it hasn't really made much of a profit, but it's just started out. So there's plenty of time and opportunity to change that around. They're also discussing other business opportunities that has turned up. And Chandler is mentioning that he's been speaking with Randy Lillard, who has an idea about a sort of lunch place that he wants to start. And he would very much like to meet with Malcolm today, if he has an opportunity to. And yeah, of course, Malcolm is open to that and would very much like to see him. I think that Malcolm has also tried to reach out to Dirk Dreamer, or well, he's had his team try at least, but so far they've been very much unsuccessful. Dirk is still firmly against everything that Landgraab Industries stands for, and is not very likely to agree to become a part of it. And of course, Malcolm is telling them about the soccer field and the sponsorship that he has secured for Landgraab Industries there, so that their logo will be on the match gear, and also the advertisement for the restaurant and any future investments that Landgraab Industries makes in the future as well. Right, so that was the morning meeting for them, and I think that these guys should definitely head to their computers and work for a bit. Shawn should work on, I think, logic, right? For some reason, she needs cleaning for the legal career. It's interesting. But yeah, I think logic. Chandler actually also needs logic to advance. So I think that he should also write that. And Beau is actually asked up to Malcolm's office to start off. And they're gonna sit up here for a short meeting. And yeah, Chandler. No, I did Chandler. I miss Laurent. Yeah. So, well, she definitely needs to work on her charisma. So let's go with that one. Yeah, I think the routing is a lot better now than it was in the previous episode. They struggled so much. Oh, he's okay. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. So Malcolm decided he wanted to go downstairs and then take the elevator to the top floor. I see. Right, so these guys are working here. Phoenix is done with his article. So I think that he should clean that up, use the bathroom, and clean the toilet, and then serve lunch. Meanwhile, in the office, Malcolm is sitting down with Beau for a meeting. And Malcolm is basically telling him that he's been very impressed with Beau's progress so far. After his graduation, he's really proven himself and has been a great asset to the company so far. And Malcolm tells him that he really likes to see where Beau is headed and his improvements in the company. So Malcolm has decided to promote Beau, actually. So right now, if we take a look at the spreadsheet, we have Beau at this level, at level 2, but Malcolm is offering him a position as a junior executive. So I'm gonna move Beau up to this position instead. So he's risen a little bit in the ranks, and I think that he's very pleased with that. So I'm gonna have to promote him also to level 4. So I think I'm gonna do that next time I play him, as long as I remember, because I think it will mess up things a little bit if I do it right now, possibly. Yeah, just to be safe. That's how I'm gonna do it. But yeah, he's gonna get the promotion. So this is a happy day for Beau. So they've had their meeting, and yeah, I think that Beau needs to head down to the bathroom for now. And Malcolm is gonna stay seated for a bit and work, I think, awesome charisma is good. Yeah. So let's have him do that. And meanwhile, downstairs, we have a visitor coming. And that is, of course, Goopy, who is coming before work to check in with Malcolm and sort of give him an update on what's been happening at the restaurant. So Goopy is going to head up to the office. And he's using the elevator. Perfect. I think that Beau might also be doing that. Yeah. Nice. So Goopy is coming in here, and Malcolm is going to greet him. Just casually nodding. All right. So I'm gonna have Malcolm sit there, and Goopy can take this chair. And they're just gonna catch up. So I'm just gonna let them sit and speak a bit about what they're up to. So looks like Phoenix has already helped himself to the lunch in here. I can also have Beau grab a plate of turkey. And yeah, these guys should also head downstairs to eat. But Malcolm is going to finish up with this meeting first. I think that overall, Goopy is pretty pleased with the progress so far. He's very happy with how the restaurant has turned out, and the visitor so far seems to have been pleased. But there are still some changes that he will have to make in order to move things along. Apparently they prefer to use the elevator even when they are down there. That's interesting. Maybe I should lock this door only for Malcolm to use. I can try that. That should fix things, possibly. Or maybe even lock for all Sims, maybe. Then it's only decorative. Yeah, I'm gonna try that and see if that makes a difference. So Chandler, I was asking you to head downstairs and eat. And looks like Phoenix is making himself comfortable here. I think he can drink some coffee and just chill for a bit. And yeah, these guys should also be finishing up their meeting. But yeah, Goopy is also welcome to have some lunch before he leaves. So yeah, they're gonna head downstairs as well. I think the routing is better, but it's still not fantastic. yeah, I saw that we got a business perk. So as you can see, I have already picked out the money. And I think that for Landgraab Industries, that's the one I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna bother about any of the other ones, I think. So I'm just gonna allow Malcolm to get these funds so that he can use them. But other than that, I'm not gonna give him anything like that, I think. Right, so Beau has also finished with his lunch. So I think he's gonna sit here and chat with Phoenix for a bit. And the others are having their lunch. Apparently Goopy picked out his own table down here. I see. Oh, okay. You decided to not clean that up. Yeah, I think that Phoenix and Beau can sit here and chat for a bit. Get to know each other a bit better. And this is a bit of a interesting potential friendship, I think, because Beau is gay, but he's in the closet and he's not comfortable about admitting that to anyone. And Phoenix is very openly gay, so he's pretty chatty about it, I think, and yeah, gladly tells Beau all about his relationship with Ricky Cormier and any men he's attracted to, things like that. And I think that possibly Phoenix is sensing that Beau is possibly hiding something like that. But yeah, of course he doesn't know for sure. Looks like these guys are having some interesting conversations down here as well. Right, so Shawn is done and she's gonna head to the bathroom. That's perfect. And it looks like Goopy is already there. Right, so Malcolm, you can clean that up. Right, and I think that I'm gonna have Phoenix go downstairs again. Wow, Malcolm is really attracted to Chandler. He keeps thinking about him all the time. And I'm gonna have Beau go back to work as well. Yeah, so he can sit here, work at home. Right, what does he need to work on? Well, he has pretty good skills, really. So it's logic, creativity, charisma. Well, yeah, he's really good at everything. But, well, I suppose let's go with charisma for him then. Right, so I'm gonna just make Goopy unselectable so that he's teleported off the lot. And I'm gonna send Malcolm back to his office to keep working on his article as well. And then wait for the next meeting. So, yeah, I think, yeah, he needs to use the bathroom. Phoenix can clean the rest of the plates up, I think. Shawn is done, so she should also head up here to work again on her article. And then Phoenix can clean that up. And why didn't you use those? Right, maybe the dishwasher is running actually. That might be why. Right. I don't think actually that I need a trash compactor right there, so let's just bring in another dishwasher. And then he can clean that up. So Lauren is done, so she should also go back up here and keep working. And as should Chandler when he's done. Right, so Malcolm is at his office and the next visitor is going to arrive. And that's of course Randy. So he's gonna head up to Malcolm's office. Right, and Phoenix, you need to work some more. Yeah, this seems to be working a lot better now. Good. Right, so Malcolm, greet Randy, please. Hopefully with a proper handshake this time. I don't think they've met. Oh, they have met, but they're not friends. Yeah, good. Proper handshake. Right, so let's have them sit and chat. Let's just see. Yeah, these guys are working well. That's good. And also Phoenix, perfect. Right. So these guys are talking about Randy's business proposal. And, well, basically his idea is to start up a lunch place in Pleasantview. Randy is very much into cooking, and he loves being creative and coming up with new recipes and things like that. And his idea is that he's going to start a, not a restaurant, but a sort of lunch place that sells takeaway dishes, so that, well, people can bring food to work from his place. And yeah, people can pick up that as like takeaway finished dishes, and also potentially for like dinner, things like that. So the restaurant, or well, the business would be open for lunch hours. Well, I suppose that it should be open in the morning so that people can bring food to work, like go to his place first and then go to work. And also be open late enough for people to go there after work and pick up dinner. So something like between 7 to 15 or something like that, maybe, or maybe even later, would be good. And yeah, I think that Malcolm agrees that that is a good idea, that people in Pleasantview need something like that. Because, well, it's like a common joke between workers in this town that they always live off of TV dinners at work. But with a business like that, when they could actually purchase nice home-cooked meals, or well, prepared meals anyway, restaurant-cooked meals, that would be a lot more nutritious and good for the workers. And I think that Malcolm sees the potential of a nice business with something like that. So I think that he's very open to the idea of starting something like that with Randy, and what with the huge investment of Goopy's restaurant. I think that a smaller business like this is very appealing to Malcolm, not as huge a monetary investment, and something that could turn profitable pretty quickly, he thinks. So I think that they make a deal with this, and yeah, Randy's business is going to be pretty similar to how Goopy's is, that he's going to pay a certain percentage to Malcolm every day. And yeah, I think that similarly to Goopy, Randy isn't that savvy a businessman, really. He might be a fortune sim, but he's very lazy. Yeah, I don't really see him being that savvy a businessman. So I think that he should also get something similar to Goopy's percentage. Yeah, Goopy's percentage is 40%, and I think that yeah, his would be pretty similar. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with, I think. So they agree, and Randy is going to just chat with him for a bit longer, I think. Chandler was done with his article, so he can also drink some coffee. Take a little break. Lauren is also done, so she can also drink some coffee. Yeah, and I think I need to be a little bit careful with these two, because I found out last time that they had 3 bolts of attraction, but it looks like it's actually gone down now. Apparently, she's not that high up there anymore for him. That's interesting. Maybe I don't have as much to worry about then. That's good. because that would have been a potential disaster, seeing as they're both engaged to other people. But yeah, looks like it's calmed down a little bit. That's good. For some reason, she also put that on the book, and I think it might be that they're lazy. No, she's not actually. Not that lazy anyway. Right. So it's actually 3 p.m. and I think that is the time when most of them end their day. Actually, so let's see. Malcolm should be here until 16, and then we have Chandler and Phoenix should leave at 15. So I think I'm just going to keep all of them until 16. But actually, something that I haven't told you yet is that I've figured out a little bit more about how I want to do the sponsorship for Woodland Soccer Field. And I'm going to make that a daily stipend of 200 simoleons. And then the advertisement is going to be 100 per business. So since Malcolm only has one business right now that he wants to advertise, that is Trattoria di Carbo, then he is going to pay 100. But that total is going to increase the more businesses he has. And those numbers are just based off of what amounts I can send via the Monique's computer. Because that's a bit limited. So I think that is what I'm going to try out, at least to start out. So that is something that he's going to have to send to Goopy right now, really. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have Beau. Actually, these guys can sit in here and have another meeting, because I think that they've earned quite enough of money for now. Yeah. And then Malcolm is going to finish up his meeting up here with Randy. Just going to make him unselectable. Someone is calling Malcolm, so I'm going to see who that is. It's his son, apparently. Looks like Archie is calling to ask him about something. Or maybe reporting back about heading to work or something like that. So I think that Malcolm is keeping close tabs on him. So he can just finish with his article for now. Oh, they really don't like cleaning up after themselves. Huh. Maybe it's because they're visitors of the lot or something? Well, I guess Phoenix, you have to come up here and clean some. Poor Phoenix. I'm gonna use him for cleaning most of the time, it looks like. Right, I think that Beau actually became overweight from the lunch. Yeah, that was what I suspected would happen with this lot, because, well, the food from this table is very filling, especially the turkey. And yeah, he's a little bit lazy, so he's gonna be likely to overeat, I think. Right, and Phoenix can clean the toilet as well. And then they are pretty much done, I think, for the day. All right, I think I'm gonna have these guys just move out of the meeting room so that I can safely dismiss them without them actually using the chairs. Good, and yeah, he's also done, so I can just go ahead and teleport, clear off all non-residents. Good, and that only leaves Malcolm. So yeah, he needs to head down to his car in the garage and call it a day. Right, before I forget, I should actually use this time to send to bank account first 100 and then 200. Yeah. To Kennedy. Good, and I'm actually going to also mark that in the spreadsheet on the soccer field tab. I've gone ahead and filled it out a bit more than it was before. And I'm gonna change this to 1 out of 6 to mark the days that he's received payment. And yeah, it's 6 because we're currently playing Tuesday. So we're 1 day, minus 1 day on the week, that is, but normally it should say 7 instead of 6 there. Right, so that is done. Kennedy has received money for the sponsorship and advertisement. So Malcolm should go downstairs. And as Malcolm comes out of the elevator, he sees that someone is waiting for him. So Malcolm is returning from his lot, but yeah, it just means that I'm gonna have to send him to work for real. So I'm just gonna wait until the car is available again, then drive to work. All right, so Malcolm is gone, as well as the kids. And Dina is apparently still sleeping here. But I think it's about time for her to wake up, even though she's very comfortable and lazy in bed. Right. Yeah, she wouldn't make the bed. She has a maid for that. She would just go up here and get ready for the day, I think. Yeah, let's just put away the leftovers and also have her eat that. Yeah, so Dina isn't working or anything like that. She's just living her best life in this mansion. And yeah, she has her beautiful garden out back that she enjoys tending to. And also this flower making arrangement thing that she likes to work with. And yeah, she also is making sure to have close friends with, well, being close friends, that is, with the influential people in town. Of course, she is close with Jennifer Pleasant. That's one of her best friends, and also Don Lothario, actually. Funnily enough, Don Lothario and her sister are one of the wealthiest families in town. And the only reason for that is really that after Dina left the Goth mansion, after Mortimer died, she took 200,000 simoleons with her. And that was sort of her, the money that she got from Mortimer, really, that she inherited from him. And that was a huge chunk of the Goth wealth. And yeah, half of it she actually left her sister. So when she moved in with Malcolm, she only brought 100,000. So the other 100,000 she left with Nina. And that is why they are wealthy, really. So yeah, even though she's very, like, not wanting to work and wanting to chase wealth and be successful that way, she also is pretty generous with the people that she's close to. Yeah. And yeah, so that's why he's one of the most influential people in town, really. And then we also have Jan Tellerman, of course, and Marissa Bendet, the, not mayor really, but sort of the head of the city council. And yeah, of course, also Andrea Cormier, although they seem to have fallen out a little bit. And other than that, she's not really close with anyone. But that is sort of what she has time to spend on right now, seeing as she doesn't work or anything. She's not close with the Pleasants, and the Pleasants are more allies with the Goths, really. So one could say that the Goths and the Pleasants are allies, at least the older generation. Of course, Dina is close friends with Jennifer, and as is Malcolm. But Mary Sue and Daniel are definitely on Cassandra's side of things. And yeah, Dina and Cassandra are definitely enemies. They've been for a long time. And yeah, so also the Tellermans are more on the Landgraab side, because Conmay has been one of Malcolm's closest allies, moving to Pleasantview and starting up his business. So, and those guys are also new money rather than old money in the town. So that's why, yeah, she's not close with Mary Sue. Long story short. Apparently she's not very close with Comey either, but that's more like Malcolm's area. Yeah, she's enemies with Bella, actually. But Bella did kill her previous husband, sort of, even though she didn't mean to do it, she did. And yeah, she doesn't like Cassandra. So yeah. And of course, she's close with Brandy Burb as well. Brandy is one of her close acquaintances when you start up the game, and that is something that I've maintained. And Brandy is fairly wealthy, really. John is the headmaster, of course, in town, and she's enjoying the result of that, I think. And then we also have Gabriel Batchelor, who's Dina's eldest son, from her first marriage to Michael Batchelor. So there's also that. But otherwise, there aren't all that many more influential people in town, I think, that she could be close to. So right now, I think that's pretty good. But I think she would like to get closer with Andrea, really, seeing as they've fallen apart a little bit. But yeah, most of her friends are, of course, at work right now, so the only one she could really hang out with right now would be, I guess, Jan Tellerman. But I think that even if they are technically close, I don't think that Dina really likes Jan, and I don't think that Jan really likes Dina either. Because Jan has always been like best friends with Mary Sue. And of course, Mary Sue isn't a big fan of the Landgraabs. And also, Dina is definitely sort of a money digger, seeing as she's not working herself and she's married wealthy husbands. I don't think that Jan is very impressed with that, seeing as she's been working really hard herself all her life. So I think that even though they are friends, they don't really like each other, one could say. So I don't think that Dina is very likely to call up Jan and ask her to come over. She would rather tend to her plants, I think, and look after the dogs. This little guy is resting, looks like, and yeah, looks like Romeo might need a bath, actually. Right, need to pay their bills as well. Okay, so we have Louis, who's now an adult dog. And this is what he looks like. Very cute. I think he looks pretty similar to his siblings, who's also grown up. So they all got, I'd say, a pretty pale version of a golden retriever, like Otis, but they got more of Icy's coloring, so that's pretty neat. I like that a lot. I'm not sure if they have a collar already for him. Otherwise, she'll have to get that. And I think I'm going to have to be more vigilant about the potty, not the potty training, but the house breaking, because I saw that there was another puddle on the floor, so have to keep an eye on him, I think. Yeah, he recently peed, I think. Okay, so these are doing okay. Right. The maid should be here now, right? Yes. Okay, so we have Amar here. So it looks like it's not Solveig in this household. The puppy's in the way. Okay, there seems to be some errors. I'll have to look up what's going on after playing this. Okay. Maybe there's something wrong with that mirror in particular then. Let's try out another mirror then and see if that resolves it. Yes, looks like it does. I think I'm gonna have to move that dog bone because that's not a good spot for the dogs to be lying down, it looks like. But where do we put it instead? I guess they can bite on it in the kitchen. Okay, so it looks like Louis isn't very obedient yet because he's not coming along. So let's try this again. Yeah, now I think. Okay, we don't have a collar for him. So Dina is going to have to buy that for him. So let's use Monique's computer for that. Shop online, buy collar. Right, and Romeo needs a bath. Yeah, one of those should be good, I think. And let's try this again then. Don't you have a floor mirror here? Yeah, let's use this instead. When Alba first began taking drum lessons at school, it was something like a stampede on the Serengeti. Things have changed, and recently Alba's been rocking the house, so much so that she's been offered the first chair for percussionists in the school band. I still don't know that word. Alba earns 200 simoleons from the school for the extra performances she'll be attending. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the pale blue one, I think. Seems to suit the Landgraabs. No, he's cute. Gonna give him some love. Nice. And she also needs to wash Romeo. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna interrupt her because she's gonna walk across the entire mansion again. So let's see. Yeah, now it's coming, I think. Yes. Right, and the teens are returning from school. So, Alba is a knowledge sim. And her hobby is arts and crafts. So I think she's very likely to actually start painting. So paint a custom painting, just to get her fun up a bit. I think she would work on something like that. Archie, on the other hand, is a fortune sim, and his hobby is sports. He's also gonna go to work not that soon, actually. He has a while yet. So I think he would head down to the gym and punch a bit on the punching bag. So Dina has decided to brush her teeth, but yeah, good. Romeo is clean again. So we can just mop that up and head out to the hot tub. So he has quite a lot of body points. That's nice. Now Alba is making progress up here. No, these guys are playing in the bathroom, like the smallest bathroom. No, maybe not the smallest, but the one of the smallest rooms in this huge mansion. Oh no, are they not doing well? Oh, they are doing pretty well. Looks like the food bowl is empty though. So Dina's gonna have to come in here and fix that. So someone is calling. Let's see who it is. Ah, okay. It's Daphne who wants to talk to Archie. Sure. Looks like Dina needs to freshen up a bit in time for the restaurant this evening. She's gonna have a shower. Looks like these two are starting to become friendly. And they're pretty attracted to each other, actually. But yeah, he's the most attracted to Hazel still. But sure, they can chat. And of course, they are fairly closely related. She's the daughter of Don as well. But she's actually part of his family and more obviously related to him via Nina, of course. Nina has raised her, so she's basically her mother in a completely different way than Hazel is part of Don's family. Right, so it looks like Dina is hanging out a bit more with the dog here. And Archie is actually feeling a bit tired, so I think that he would hang up, freshen up a bit after his training, and then just have a nap on the couch. So, what would Dina do about this situation? Would she want the dog to be on the furniture or off it? I think off the furniture. So let's scold him. But I think you have to move out of the way first. Good. I think she can give him some more love. Right, so Alba has built up her fun quite a bit, so I think she would just do her homework, being pretty studious. And yeah, seeing as it's a little while until they need to leave for the restaurant, I think that she would call up a friend to have a little chat. And of course, she wanted to become better friends again with Andrea, so let's go with her. Good, and Malcolm is returning. Great. So he needs to freshen up a bit after work, so I'm gonna have him have a, no, not a bubble bath. Let him have a shower. Well, actually, I think that after work, Malcolm would head straight to the gym. So he's gonna swim for a bit, then have a shower, and then they're gonna leave. He wouldn't waste any time. Oh, right, he needs to leave for work. I think, yeah, the carpool is here. He's probably gonna have to run now. I let him sleep for too long. Good luck, have fun. Are you already done? Very graceful, Malcolm. Are you close to maxing out the body skill? I have 2 points left, okay. Nice, now he only has 1 more skill point left. All right, but I think he should have a shower. And then these guys have to head out to dinner. So, seeing as her parents are gonna be gone, and her brother is also going to be gone, I think that Alba feels a little bit lonely, and that she would call up Hugo over. So, let's ask out on date. Home. Right, good. So he's coming over for a date. Nice. So Alba is pretty tired, but I think she can have some espresso to waken herself up. Okay, good. So I'm actually just gonna have them sit in vehicle. So they're heading out to the restaurant. Looks like Hugo has a ride for his date as well. Okay, so she's angry with him. Oh no, don't tell me that he ended up falling for someone else. No, he hasn't. Okay. And she's not with anyone else, is she? No? Okay. I've had this issue in the past that for some reason the game assigns romantic relationships for my Sims with random people. And then I have to figure out who the game has assigned it to and then remove it with the Sim Blender. I'm not sure why that happens, but it's an odd glitch. It might be the case this time, so I'm gonna have to go in and double check so that the game hasn't assigned some sort of relationship with either Hugo or Alba. That would make Dina react like this. So, yeah. Let's just see, but for now, let's just sit in vehicle. Are you also gonna be... Okay, sit in vehicle. Okay, apparently Dina is going to drive. That's fine. Good. And they're heading out to the restaurant. Welcome to the Fancey household. So, Goopy has had the beginning of the day to himself. As you can see, he has one of his girls over, and it's Danielle Lillard, who he also has a daughter with. And before this, they had actually fallen out of love, but now they're back together again. And yeah, Goopy is making use of both Melissa being at work, of course, and his 2 children being at school. So he has the apartment to himself for now. But he's, of course, going to have to head to work later. And I went ahead and promoted him to sous chef because I think that the hours work a lot better with what I've got planned for improving the restaurant that I created. And yeah, he technically had the day off today, but I'm going to send him anyway, just so that we can figure out the restaurant and start to use it. So yeah, he's going to keep making out with Danielle here on the bed for a little while, and yeah, get ready for work as well. I think that there are quite a few things at the restaurant that will have to change, and I think that Goopy is excited to make those changes. One thing that I noticed when I went to visit the restaurant, and not actually playing it, but going with, I think it was Oliver and Demi Love who went on a date there. Yeah. I noticed that, well, for one thing, Goopy didn't want to be the chef, even though he really should be. So that didn't really work out. And yeah, so I think I need to employ someone else to be the chef, and hopefully that will sort things out. And then Goopy will have to sort of be the manager instead. That's possibly a thing that I have to change. But yeah, I think that he would, at this point, just say goodbye to Danielle. It's been nice to meet up again, but I think it's time for her to leave. Yeah, he can make the bed and remove the evidence. Not that Melissa would mind, really. They have an open relationship, and they are in agreement about seeing other people. I mean, Melissa is seeing other people too. Oh, okay, I need to delete the copy file now. But yeah, so she's been seeing Abhijit for a long time, and also Don Lothario, and she recently hooked up with Ricky Cormier as well. So these guys are pretty open to being with other people. Right. So he starts work at 2 in the afternoon, and he should be heading to work around 1, a little bit after. So yeah, I'm just gonna have him take a shower, freshen up a little bit. So it's gonna be like he leaves for work when Melissa returns, because Melissa has really early hours. So yeah, they will not see much of each other. So I suppose they will have to make use of the Thursdays that they have off together. Otherwise, things are gonna get pretty busy for Goopy, I think. Right, and I also got myself a new custom food in preparation for this, and that is lasagna. So I actually want him to just create it so that I can see what it looks like before I include it into the restaurant menu. Looks like Jason was horsing around with some classmates and effortlessly tossed a chair across the classroom. So he got some money from the soccer team thing. Yeah. So apparently this is cloned from the turkey. So it demands quite a lot of cooking skill in order to make it. And it should be pretty expensive, I think, as well, at the restaurant. Wow, I love the looks of that. I leave a link to it in the description box if you want it as well. Ooh, wow. That looks really tasty. Yeah. Okay, so the plate is blue for some reason. I just want to see what the plate looks like, because there was some sort of custom plate, but I suppose it was just the serving plate. Yeah, because this looks like my normal default replacement. Nice. So just put that away, please. And then, yeah, put the leftovers away. Oh, that's really nice, isn't it? Yeah. I'm happy to include that in the restaurant. Really nicely done. Okay, apparently Althea brought home Hector Goth. That's interesting. He's a lot younger than her. I would rather think he was Jason's friend rather than Althea's friend. Okay, but just let's just have Goopy head to his business. Right, so Goopy is arriving at his community lot. And so far there are no visitors here or anything, because of course the business is closed. But there are some things that I need to fix to start off. I realized when I used the car to drive here that when they parked in this parking spot, this parking space was blocking this side of the car. And I've read up a little bit on these, like the instruction text on these decorative parking spaces, and it turns out that I should have left this one empty in order to use it properly. So I am going to just remove this one so that, that parking space is always going to be empty, but the car is going to park all of the other places, and then the Sims who visit this slot will park in that spot. So I think that is going to work fairly well. Something else that I realized that I forgot was that these is it called shutters? Not sure, but they are not fitted to the windows. I think I switched around the windows at the end of building this and forgot about them. So I am going to have to change that. So let's see. Yeah, good. Now it looks good. So let's turn on all lights. So what have I got planned for this place? Well, as you noticed the previous time, it was struggling quite a bit money-wise. I think in the end, the money that Malcolm got out of this lot was 200 simoleons, which is a very low amount, seeing as he spent 70,000 on the lots in total. So what I have planned out, let me just bring in the spreadsheet here. So I've created this tab for Trattoria di Carbo. So what I've decided to try out is to work a bit with table booking. So I've taken a look at the restaurant and seen what table sizes I have available. And well, I have 3 tables for 6 visitors, 1 for 5, 2 for 4, and 6 for 2. So I have tried to follow the tips made by Gordon Ramsay in Kitchen Nightmares, you know, that TV series. He always tells the owners that in order to earn money, they need to fill up the tables. And I think that that is something that could work in The Sims as well. If I somehow fill up the tables and make sure that there are guests coming in all the time to sit and eat, then possibly I could actually start to earn money from this. So I've started out by setting the hours like between 15 to 21, and that is based off of Goopy's new working hours, and that is between 14 and 21. So yeah, he has an hour to get ready sort of, and then the first dinner guests will arrive. So the first table is booked for 6, and that's going to be teenagers, and then another one booked for 6, and that is the workers at Goth Laboratories who's come after work to hang out. And then we also have the Stratton family, who has a table for 5. And the next hours, between 17 and 19, we have John and Brandy Burb, Orlando Bertino and Lucy Burb, Abhijit Bertino, and then Beau Newbie. So sort of a family dinner. And we also have Kennedy Cox and his family. And that is also when Malcolm and Dina will show up together with Don and Nina. And after that, we have the Lillards coming together with, well, Randy and Tosha, that is, coming together with their parents, respectively. And then we have the Pleasants showing up here as well, together with Zachary Lillard, Angela's boyfriend. And I don't know if I have bitten off more than I can chew here, but I've decided to also bring in Ricky Cormier and Phoenix Gibson at that time. So, of course, Ricky left Angela at the altar. So that might be getting an interesting result. But what I was thinking was that these groups of people, that I should group them together into a group when they are visiting and eating, so that they actually sit down at the same table. And I've recently gotten a mod that makes forming groups easier, like quicker. That should help with that, I hope. But for these guys, I was actually thinking that I should have them go on a date. So we'll have to see how that works out. As I mentioned, I might have bitten off more than I can chew with this. So it's going to be very much trial and error now. So I hope you're ready for that. Other than that, we of course have some employees here. So that is Jihoon, as well as Callista. And yeah, they are... Jihoon is fairly good at cooking, but Callista really isn't. So I could possibly make Jihoon the new chef. It really depends on how many cooking skills they need for making the lasagna. So actually, I should be starting out with planning the menu to actually add also lasagna. And they need 6 cooking skills, so looks like Jihoon is 1 point short. But seeing as he's very old, but he's at the end of his adult years, that is, it's possible that I could bump him up 1. Yeah. So let's just add that one to the menu. But I do need to employ 1 more person. And the person that I was thinking about actually is one of my playables. So let me bring this in. So here they are. And the person that I was thinking about is actually Oliver Bertino. Because he advanced in his career very, very quickly. Much too quickly for my taste. He's still very young. And I was really thinking that he should... he should sort of work his way up, but right now his career is just escalating, actually to the point where I have to give him a job stopinator because he's done so well for himself, but I think it's moving too fast. So I've decided to instead add him in to this restaurant as the chef, or possibly a server. I'm gonna have to see. I might actually prefer to have Jihoon as the chef when I think about it. So, I think I'm gonna do that. So let's remove this again. And I'm gonna have Goopy go to his computer and business hire employees for this lot. Oh no, looks like I have mistakenly added in a bush into the wall here. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that. Yeah, but the other wall seems to be fine. Good. Yeah, no. I'm trying to fiddle with it too much. Now. Yes, good. So I'm gonna have to check how many cooking skill points he has and then decide based on that who should be the chef. But yeah, as I said, I'm leaning more towards Jihoon. Okay, so he only has 4 points. So yeah, it's gonna be Jihoon. So hire Oliver. He already has a job, but yeah, he's a prep cook at level 6. So yes, I definitely want him to have another job. Right. Something else that I have added in recently that I think is going to help a lot with this business to actually earn money is that I have got a mod that lowers the wage for the employees. Quite a lot, I think. So right now, can I see? Right, so she's overpaid actually. So I should change her wage. Can I do that with this? Fairly paid is on, so possibly her wage should lower if she's asked to come to the lot. So I'm gonna call in the employees before I open the lot. Right, so I needed to change her work outfit to actually match her real hairstyle. So let's see. Set uniform. Yeah, this is what she's supposed to look like. So let's see. Great. So now she has her proper outfits on. How am I gonna raise his skill when I can't? Will this do anything? No, I can't do it like that. Because if I make him selectable, he's not gonna be like on the lot to work anymore. So I might have to just let him have 1 point to few for now. But he needs to be, yeah, I need to management. Right, and the time. No, this is actually the start time, so I still have the hour left until the guests should arrive, so that's fine. Management. Set uniform. I shouldn't have that hair. Good. And he has the wrong face, I think. Can I? Yeah, I can gussy him up. So plan outfit. But I can't use your closet. I am the only sim from my family. Oh, interesting. Okay. What? Oh, Well, I guess he'll just have to have the wrong face for now then, and I'll have to fix it later. Yeah, I have to go into his household and fix it, I think. But as long as I plan his outfit once, it should reset. And then this guy should look like a chef now. Right, so he should management assign be chef. And Oliver assign server Oliver. But she is still overpaid, and it looks like this one didn't do anything. Can I, like, no? I don't know how she will react if I lower her wage, but I suspect I might have to. Oh. Change wage. Risky, risky. Fairly paid, please. She doesn't look happy, but yeah. How are they doing? Are they... yeah, they're okay. But yeah, she didn't like that, of course. Who would? Okay. But it's half an hour until the first group of people should arrive, and I think I can start to prepare for that. So let's just open up the restaurant. And of course, we will also have normal visitors coming as well, that Goopy is going to have to throw into the restaurant and sell the food to, I suppose. So something that's going to be pretty essential then for this to work is a sim blender. The question is where I want to have it. I mean, it would make sense to have it outside, I guess, because that's where the guests will arrive, but it won't look look that nice. But I guess, yeah, if it stands here next to the other potted plants, it's fine. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so let's try this. I'm gonna start with the group of teens. So something that I don't know how it will work, that we'll have to figure out as we go, is when they pay, where does it take the money from? I actually don't know. Because, yeah, if it takes the money from Goopy's own pocket, then he won't earn any money from the meeting. So, yeah, we're gonna have to see. But let's start with just enabling the summoning menu and start getting the kids over here. Okay, good. So now we have these teens here. And I should probably decide who should be the group leader. Well, seeing as it's his father's restaurant, but I don't want him to pay though. Yeah, I feel like Hugo might be pretty driven in bringing people together. Possibly. So let's make him the leader. So he's gonna have to create a group. Just for fun. Good, now they're in a group. So that is what the mod does, that it's instantaneous and it doesn't make them sort of interact in order to join the group. And I also think that they automatically say yes as well. So let's just do this. Good. So now they all should be in the group. Great. So, in theory, now he should be able to walk up here and be seated. And that should be the first reservation of the day. Okay, we're losing your ranking. Okay, Callista, can you please do your job? I think he was trying to view something. Why don't you go here, Goopy? Okay, good. Now Callista is seating the teens. I hope, so let's see. No, don't do that, Goopy. And she's giving them this table. Okay, this is the reviewer, apparently. So I guess he should greet her. Just cause. And let's see. Will the teenagers sit down? Looks like they will. That's brilliant. So let's just see how this works. You can sell to him. And Laurent, how about you? Gonna be able to sit there, I hope. And Hazel is sitting down as well. Good. So are you actually... He doesn't have the... No? Okay. Not sure how well this is all working. For some reason they're getting up to greet Goopy. I don't know why. But he successfully sat down again anyway. Yeah. But will Oliver come back or? Okay, looks like something might have gone wrong because Oliver isn't coming back for them, so maybe just give up seat. I guess for all of them then, or maybe, okay, let's just interrupt all of this and let's try again. And let's try to be seated again. Hopefully that will work. So yeah, as I suspected, having this many reservations might have been a bit overambitious. So let's just see how we do with this group of teens to start off. And then possibly we can escalate things later. Okay, so they're gonna be seated again. It looks like it's the same table. Well, at least Chandler is getting his food. So let's see if this works out now. It looks promising anyway. Good. And now Oliver is here for them to order. So let's just take chef's choice. Good. Okay, things are improving a little bit. Goopy, don't do that. You were doing so well. Okay. It's 4. So it's an hour until I had planned that Malcolm and the group should arrive. So let's just try to bring in another group here. And I think I'm gonna go with the scientists. So let's just see how we can work with this. Okay, good. So we have the scientists here now, and of course Alexander should be the one who pays for this. He's both the boss and he's extremely wealthy, so he's gonna be the group former. So, okay, let's greet Alvin to start off, and ask form casual group just for fun. Good, and they're in a group. Oh, does he have to greet all of them? Okay, good. Now they are also in a casual group, so he should be able to be seated as well. Okay, so let's just take a look at this beautiful thing. We have the teenagers sitting here eating, and look, they have different dishes, all of them. I'm actually pretty damn impressed by this. So yeah, we'll have to see how things turn out with the payment and such. One thing that I could try is to make them all unselectable after I have had them seated and things. But the issue then is that I might lose track of the group, and as we saw in the previous episode with Lilith and Ophelia showing up at Adriana's home all the time, is that if they are in a group, it doesn't automatically remove itself. So they will keep appearing, possibly on this lot as a group. Yeah, so we'll have to see how the payment works. Let's see how things work with the scientists as well. How do we look money-wise so far? So far we've lost money. But of course they haven't paid yet, so we'll have to see. All right, and they're getting this table. Good. So the others are also coming in here. Perfect. So it looks like the thing I have to pay attention to is when Oliver appears to take their order. Because that if I miss that cue, he's not gonna come back. I think that was what went wrong previously. Okay, so apparently Goop is cleaning up a bit. No, why? I don't know why they keep getting up though. It looks like if I make the group owner order, then they will return to their seats. So that's good. So it looks like this group is also working fairly well now. I'm just gonna have to wait until Oliver comes to take their order. Looks like he moved on to Sinjin first. Goopy, why? What did you do? And why did you do it? Looks like he prepared some food for the workers, I suppose. That's silly. Do I have to keep attention on him? I guess he can eat that. Oliver, why aren't you coming to take their order though? Are you doing it now? No. He's cleaning that up. Okay. Well, I guess that's a bottleneck as well. I might need two servers. Maybe that's the issue. Because it looks like the host is fine being just one, but the server has to clean up as well as take orders and things, so I could technically have a Goopy be server for now, but I think I might have to have another one eventually for like when I have Sims come visit this lot. So let's just have him abandon that and be server. He's sitting out in the restaurant to eat. Very professional Goopy. So let's see if he takes their order. No, he's cleaning up again. So how long are they supposed to wait for their order? Where is Oliver now? He's in here. Yeah, of course they're losing stars when they're not coming to... Okay. Can I not do chef's choice? No. Okay, let's just do filet mignon for all of them, because that's the most expensive one. So let's see if it worked. I have no clue. Right, so these guys are still sitting here, but I think they came at 3 and they are pretty much done at 16. Sorry, 18. 6 in the evening. So it takes them around 3 hours, it looks like, with the time control clock slowed down to 50% to finish the dinner. So I should plan for that next time. Instead of 2 hours, I should make it 3 hours. But I think I should be able to try to have him pay the bill. I think that did not come from Goopy's. I should have really checked the amount before. Well, at any rate, I need to make all of these guys unselect... No, wait. I can't make them unselectable. I have to have Hugo pay dining bill and leave. Interesting. But no, end casual group. Okay, are you finally gonna take their order now? Looks like it might be. So could make it chef's choice. About time, Goopy. Oh my god. Okay, so this group is breaking up. That's good. Good. Then I can make them all unselectable safely. Hopefully, this little group is gonna get their food. And yeah, it's time for me to bring in the Landgraabs. Wow, Don is really dressed up for this, isn't he? Okay, good. So let's just... Okay, I guess he's gonna have to greet all of them as well. No, I can't ask to join the group. Can she? Maybe. Let's have him greet Don. Wait, are they gonna kiss each other? Ooh. Let's just have them greet each other with a high five. Have they finally gotten their food now? They have, but this looks burnt. Johnson, you have your food, you can eat now. These guys are high-fiving each other out here. Okay, so can you ask her to join? Yes, good. And you can ask join. Good. Perfect. So they're in a group now, and hopefully they will be seated at these 4 people tables. So let's have them be seated. Yes, good. And just as planned. Nice. What a nice group of people we have here. And of course they are looking around at the furnishings. And I think that they're pretty happy with how things look. Apparently Nero is sitting there staring at his father. Yeah. And they can see that it's not a lot of people, but apparently there's a huge group of people in that table at least. So that's a good sign. Looks like Oliver is going to take their order. Let's go with chef's choice here as well. I think that it's a pretty convenient way to do it now. Good. Okay, so we're somewhat on track now. And it's almost 7. So, who else did I have planned? I think I'm gonna skip these Stratons. I think that might be pushing it time-wise. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm being silly. We can try the Stratons. The only thing that's taking time is having them greet each other. And these guys are doing well. Looks like Don wasn't completely happy. But now he's noticed that he has food, so... How typical of the Landgraabs to come to a fancy restaurant only to order salad. Oh my god. You guys. But of course, Don is eating healthily here, and apparently Nina felt for dessert. Okay. These guys are apparently still eating, so I'm gonna leave them alone for now. The Stratons are on their way in. As soon as Remington can chase down his wayward daughter here. Ask, join. Good. Now they can be seated. Yes, I think it's probably a pretty good strategy to go with big groups. Because then we can get a lot of people into these places where normally Sims wouldn't sit, because the visitors of the lot normally just come like 1 and 1, and they would take up these tables right here normally. But yeah, the people that we need to sort of use to fill out the place would be big groups in these places. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try to keep that up. But I think that he can pay the bill. And I'm gonna look at the money now. Yes. Okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted. So then he has to end the casual group. So how are we doing? We are actually plus. I hope that sticks. Yeah. Let's hope. But of course, I don't know how things will be after Goopy is manager again, and we have 2 servers. Yeah. Good. So Alexander's group is done. So I'm gonna make all of these guys unselectable as well. Good, and now we only have these guys and the Stratons. So how are we doing with the Stratons? Oh, they're sitting at this table. That's fine. So let's just see. I'm gonna have to pay attention so that they take their order. Goopy's here, good. Chef's choice, perfect. Right, next group. Yeah, it's pretty late at this point, but let's go with the Lillards and Tellermans, I think. Yeah, I think I want to prioritize them. Some of them appear in their work outfits. What I'm doing then is that I take the sim blender and then change appearance of that person. Clothing casual. All right, and I want the Tellermans to pay for this, so let's have him greet Brandon. Looks like they had to be a bit close in order to actually be able to join the group, though. But I can circumvent that by having Tosha invite her husband. And then you can invite Randy. Good. So, yes. Perfect. Then let's have them also be seated. Oh. Well, that's romantic. How cute. Why are they getting a minus from that? Are they burnt, possibly? Yeah, they probably are burnt now that I think about it, because Johnson doesn't have enough cooking skills. So that's why they're getting minus. Okay. But that's fine. Then things are starting to pick up. I'm starting to learn how to work with this, I think. But I definitely need 2 servers, that's pretty apparent. Okay, he's already here to take their order. Is he included? I think so. So you should be able to make it chef's choice. Great. These guys have finished eating, and I think that they are all pretty happy to just pay and leave for now. End the casual group. And I can start prepping for the next group. So, you know what? Let's try out the date. I'm a bit scared. But let's cross our fingers and see how it works. We have Ricky and Phoenix. So I'm gonna have him ask out on date. Let's see how this goes. Well, also the good news is that we have gained some perks here. So I don't know, I don't think wholesale applies to the food, right? I don't think so. So that's just just a wasted thing. So I think I'm actually also going to go ahead with the money for now, just to sort of bump up this business a little bit, because that's very needed. And then let's see what we do after this point. Great, so they are on a date. So let's see here. let's just do some interactions at first before they are seated, just to sort of start up the date. And this guy is ending the casual group. Good. I'm gonna make them unselectable. Good. And let's just keep a little bit of an eye on the date here. They made a joke. Play. Okay, they're up to good date, and it's fairly stable, I think. So I'm gonna have Ricky have them get seated. Looks like these guys are done. So I'm gonna have this guy, come here, pay the bill. And end the casual group. And these guys are having a nice dinner here as well. It's so nice to see. Yeah, I'm really happy about this. Good. Remington is saying goodbye to his family. All right. Yes, and these guys are getting seated. Or so I thought. Yeah, I think that Callista is taking a break. Goopy, can you actually, instead of being the server, be the host for a while? Just to get these guys seated. And you need to be unselectable. Good. And then Callista can be server instead. Just to make this work, sort of. I can switch things around a little bit. Okay, so it's 9 in the evening, and that was when I wanted it to end. So I do, though, have this date to take care of. So I could squish in another one, I think, and then I would have to call it a night for them. So looking at the list I had, it's probably pretty late for the Cox family, seeing as they have children. But I was a bit fond of the idea of bringing in the Pleasants, even though it's gonna be pretty chaotic with Ricky. But yes, I think I'm gonna do that just for the hell of it. Okay, so in this case, I suppose Daniel should be the leader. Let's have him greet his wife. Oh, they're so pleasant. They sure are. No, he's gonna kiss her tenderly. That's cute. But I actually want you to be in a group right now. Greet your daughter. Hi. Are you finally seated now? Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that as well. I don't want to miss the server here. Yeah, this is it. So you have to chef's choice. Daniel, your sister needs to join. Okay, good. And then only Angela. Greet Zachary. And ask to join. Good. So, Daniel should be able to be seated. Oh, we're up to rank 4. Why not? There we go. Things are picking up. And these guys are on their date now. That's good. So, Phoenix wants to toast. to Ricky, so he can do that. Just when the Pleasants came in, they decided to toast. That's pretty cheeky. Nice. So they're having their dinner. And he wants to kiss Ricky, so I guess he can blow him a kiss. And Goopy is having the Pleasants seated. Okay, they're gonna take this table. Looks like these guys are done. So I'm gonna have Komme pay the bill. And end the casual group. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, she's watching Phoenix distressed. Because he's on a date with Ricky, I suppose. Yeah. Good. So these guys can be unselectable again. I'm gonna have to... Oh, Jennifer. I have to keep an eye on the Pleasants here. But yeah, oh, Angela is really upset about this. But okay. Are none of you gonna order? That's silly. I guess that date really did mess up things here. Oh, it's a queue to the bathrooms. Wow. Everyone wants to go to the bathroom. How to do this then? What about if Angela does this? Give up seat. Angela, can you instead be seated? So maybe if I distract her a bit. But yeah, these guys are just minding their own business. And he still hasn't kissed him, it looks like, so just blow a kiss. Yeah, and Goopy is gonna have them seated there. And he's saying he's starving. Yeah. Looks like actually all of them are sort of giving up on their jobs right now. So, yeah. I'm not sure exactly how this is gonna work. At least they're all still fairly paid. I think I'm gonna have to bump him up a bit just to keep things running for now. But I have to pay attention to how late it's getting. Assigned server, Callista. Assigned chef, Jihoon. And are these guys not sitting now? So Callista, order, yes. Do that, please. Okay, so I don't know what Daniel was trying to do, but I guess I have to reset him then. Yeah, something is really lagging here now. I think it might be too many sims on the lot or something. So I think I'm gonna try to dismiss a few of them, just to make it a bit easier on my computer. That should be better, hopefully. It went to Chef's Choice. But only Angela is sitting down right now, so I'm gonna see if I can somehow get them to sit down. But that seems to be sort of the struggle of this. Try to just sit. Here comes the food, so let's see if everyone gets fed. No, only one of them. Of course. No, okay, that didn't work very well. But I think yeah, I've been pushing it. So I think I'm gonna have to pay the bill and just end the casual group and then just send them on their way. This date, on the other hand, I would love to just pay the bill. Goopy, you should be able to... why are you in here? You shouldn't be able to be in here. Oh, right, you're part of the family, that might be why. Okay, so just close the business, send employees home. Apparently Callista was flirting with Goopy. Okay, so he's ending the casual group. Making them unselectable. And these guys... So let's just do that in front of Angela. Seems like a good thing. And I think it's a great date now. Entertain. It was he who wanted to entertain. Okay, so it was a great date and I'm totally fine with that. So, did you pay? Yeah, you did. Good. Where is end the date? There it is, end the date. Good. So make them unselectable as well. And then only Goopy is here, except for Jason, who is also still here, working a bit, looks like. Yeah, so you're just sitting there right now. I think I need to look into employing another server. How did we do with money? We should have a lot. Yeah, because I also got the money rewards. All of these. So I need to calculate as well how much to send to Malcolm. But first, I'm gonna... business, hire employees for this lot. And I mean, Jason, if you want to clean up, go ahead. That is totally fine with me. You're being a good son. Looks like these guys are lingering a little bit here. The question is just who to employ. And it shouldn't be a playable, I don't think. She's a CEO. I mean, he doesn't take a lot of money. He is sharing the last name with Kennedy though, so that's not ideal. Okay, we have Brooke Simpson, who is a rat keeper. She's currently a hostess. And she's also one of the original Apartment Life Townies. So that's very tempting, is what I'm looking for. Yeah, let's go with Cameron. Yes. Good. So what I wanted to do was, I'm pretty sure that, because the employees, they have gone home now, and right, yes, good. So I should be able to summon in Oliver, first of all. Just to, oh no, I couldn't gussy him up, of course, but I could... What about if I just temporarily get a wardrobe? I don't think changing outfit is going to cut it. But a changing booth, you can plan outfit, right? Yes. Let's see, that should solve it. Gorgeous. Yeah, good. Perfect. So I can resell this. So his face should be fixed now. So let's just make him unselectable and then also find Cameron Lee. I can just give her a little bit of a makeover here. He can greet her, so he has met her at least. Okay, he can't set her uniform right now. So I'll have to do that next time. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. There are still some dishes to be cleaned up. Danielle, don't be mean to Ricky. Of course he is. Okay. I'm gonna have him walk home. And it's gonna chase everyone away. So I think we gained quite a lot of stars here today. It's pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah, this... Oh, wait. I am forgetting again. I should calculate this first before he actually leaves. And I think I actually have to delete Jason because he's part of the family, so he's not gonna leave on his own. So make unselectable and delete him. So did I successfully interrupt you from leaving? Otherwise I just have to fix the... Okay, no, it worked. But otherwise I could have just done it from his home lot. But yeah, let's do it here now. So, right, and I'm looking at revenue. So it's 34123. Okay, so 40% of that should be 13,649. Quite a lot of money, but I mean, they earned so much. So it was because of the rewards, of course, but yeah. So I think Malcolm's gonna be really, really happy. What a change, right? So how much can I send here? Bank online, transmit money to household funds, I think. Playable. 10 to start out with. 13. I'm gonna round it down to 500. Or can I do 600 maybe? Oh, here is 600. Oh, good. Oh, it's gonna count on this day because it's the next day. Okay. That's a bummer. But that's what I get for doing this so late. Good. So Malcolm made some profit as well. And that's not even counting the potential pizza as well, because that's another thing that I am gonna do for this restaurant, is that whenever anyone in the neighborhood buys a pizza for 40 simoleons, I'm gonna add that to the tab of the restaurant, and that is here. I think I might just count how many or something. And then the next time I'm gonna add that into the calculation for how much money is sent to Malcolm as well. So yeah, if I can get some of the neighbors to buy pizza as well, that's gonna add on to the profit. So that's very nice. Yeah, good. So I fixed all that, and Goopy can head on home. So we're back in the Landgraab household, and yeah, Malcolm and Dina are sitting in the car. Let's just pretend that they're not here. So I was checking in on this. Where did her date go? Was it because I was messing around with Hugo on the other lot, maybe? That's strange. But anyway, let's just summon him back. I checked both of their relationship panels by using the mailbox, shift-clicking, neighborhood, make me know everyone, and just going through all of their relationships to check if there was any like engagements or marriages or anything that the game had added without my knowing. But it actually hadn't. This time, it has in the past, but the This time it hadn't. And then, of course, I exited without saving so that they don't have their relationship panels messed up. That's very important. But yeah, turns out that that wasn't the case. So the only thing that I can figure is maybe parents don't like their teenagers going on dates. I don't know. Let me know if you've experienced that before, because I sure haven't. But anyway, let's just... well, it doesn't have to be selectable, actually. But he needs to be in a ask on date. Okay, so Archie got a chance card, and he doesn't have a job stop in it, so let's see. It's the last day of the Inter-Office Fantasy League, and Archie's team has a good chance of winning the title. Unfortunately, his star player is questionable for tonight's game. Should Archie take the risk of playing the injured star, or should he go for the safe route and bench him? I think that Archie is pretty reckless. And yeah, very ambitious. So let's just play the star. Stick with the horse that got you there. Archie decides to play the slightly injured starter and gets rewarded with a great game. Archie easily wins the game and thus the league, securing the prize money. Okay, nice. They're actually quite up quite a lot of money now. I think they've earned, like, in this episode. Well, of course, he got all the money from Goopy. That is it, of course, also. But yeah, I guess Malcolm brought in a lot of money as well from his job. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Things are moving up. Great, so they are on a date again. Perfect. So I guess they're just gonna chat for now. And yeah. They don't have to be out in the entrance for their date. They can actually go up to Alba's room. He should follow since they're on a date. No. Don't scrap the painting. You worked hard on that. Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to slow dance, be tickled. What is that? Reach creativity level 8. So, well, I guess they're gonna go out here and turn on the music and slow dance for a bit. Oh, now he also got the want to make out. That's awesome. This is actually during Malcolm and Dina's wedding. This is actually where they had the dancing as well after the ceremony. So we had, of course, Dina and Malcolm dancing, and then also Nina and Don, and Jan, Tellerman, and Comey as well were up here dancing. So this reminds me of that. Nice. Why don't you... Do you have a cup of feel on your bed? I think you do, yeah. So why don't you sit there? You can cuddle for a little bit. These guys should have a ride home now. And seeing as they had a dinner, they should be full. So they can get out of the car and do whatever they want on their own while we supervise the teenagers here. So let's see. She should be able to ask him to join. Cuddle. And then, yeah, kiss. Have they had their first... Yeah, they had their first kiss at the arcade, right? Now I remember. The romantic one. Yeah, that happens sometimes for some reason when they cuddle. They just interrupt it. Usually if I'm quick about it, it keeps going. So let's try the make out and see if that works. Yes, it does. Okay, good. Yeah, so they will both fulfill power wants now, so that should bump up the date quite a bit. And that was their first make-out as well. Nice. But actually, it's not all that much up, so I think maybe they should head down to the kitchen and have a bite to eat. Yeah, get leftovers and see what we have. Malcolm, you want to hang out with Dina, but I think that he should actually pay the bills because I've gotten 2 reminders now. Bank online, pay bills, and then he can give some financial advice. That's fine. I think she should just get into the hot tub again. That's where she likes to be. Let's see what we can fix for these guys to eat. We have some empty plates here, but why don't you take some of the breakfast food you ate this morning? And I actually finally caught the dog at it. Look. Louis, what are you doing? Scold for peeing on the floor. My god, dog. Don't go into the kitchen and pee. Okay, dog is coming to her. Ready to be scolded. Well, this way he will learn, and she can rub his belly a bit, just so that the relationship doesn't go down too much. Looks like it's already taking a bit of strain, so she can just give him some love and then get back in the hot tub. These guys are doing pretty well, looks like. Talking about work, I suppose that Hugo tells her a bit about his disastrous first day at work when he was fired the first day. Yeah. So that's why he has this want that he wants to get the job. He needs to get something else. It actually was the law career that he was fired from, so. But Alba doesn't have a job. She is not really interested in that right now. She's still a teen. Not really into that. She's not in a hurry, unlike her brother. But I think that Archie is feeling the pressure from his father. He's expected to take over the family business after all, as a Landgraab. Okay, so Archie has returned and he was not promoted. Oh, he's exhausted. Wow. So I'm gonna send him up to his bedroom and sleep. Looks like Dina has overheated a little bit, so I'm gonna throw her in the pool. Just gonna try to keep her away from the teenagers so that she's not angry again. Right, so they want to flirt a bit. Hold hands, maybe? Yeah, but it looks like they're pretty much done with the date now. Looks like they're pretty tired and they're not really wanting to do much. So I'm gonna end it at a good date, I think. I think maybe just like give him a last romantic hug. And let's end the date. Nice. So just clean that up. And then she's gonna freshen herself up a bit and head to bed. So she actually wants to become best friends with Jan. I think it's not too late to call yet, so let's just do that for a bit. There, and she can have a bubble bath. And then she's gonna sleep. Malcolm is still giving financial advice here, so that's fine. Yeah, he actually wants to max out the body skill as well. It is pretty late. And he is starting to get tired, so I think that he's also just gonna freshen up and go to bed, actually. So let's just have a shower, and then I think he's gonna just chill on his bed for a while. So it looks like she's cementing the friendship with Jan, but they're not best friends yet. It might take a while, but as long as she can max out the short-term friendship, it's gonna improve over time. Yeah, Dina is definitely enjoying life here. She's the queen of her own realm. I can actually imagine the two of them having like a vacation home or something on Tweaky Island, but I would have to renovate that world first. So yeah, that might actually be the vacation hood that I start out with, just in order to give them the opportunity to have a vacation home, because I think that would suit them pretty well. So just take a shower and then head to bed as well. Making sure that they have food. I can clean and fill that. And Malcolm is resting up here. It's actually a pretty dark room. No, that's fine. You're supposed to sleep in it anyway. He can read a bit. Ah, that is very shadowy. Something like that, I think. Oh, you should praise him for not chewing on the furniture. That's pretty important. Who's calling at this hour? Rude. Excuse me? What? Who are you and why are you calling Archie at 11 in the night? No, you cannot talk to my son right now. My God, strange woman. I bet Dina would say something like, no, you can't talk to him and don't ever call here again. Wow. Wonder what that was about. Are you still here, Hugo? My dear, it's time for you to leave. You know what? Actually, I think that she would have a serious conversation with him. Alba is her baby girl. She's really raised her in her own image. So I think that she would be extremely overprotective of her. So I think that she would walk up to him and intimidate him a little bit. But not too much. I mean, he is the son of her friend after all. So looks like they're talking about Alba. So yeah, and she's gonna say goodbye to him. Of course, Dina doesn't know what they were up to in Alba's room earlier, so I bet she wouldn't be as happy if she knew. Right, and I think she's just gonna head to bed, and Malcolm can finish with his book as well. It is pretty late after all. And there we go. They're cuddling up in bed. They are doing that, even though they are not technically attracted to each other, because Malcolm is gay and Dina is asexual. They are definitely life companions, and yeah, they tend to snuggle a bit and hug and such, but it doesn't mean anything like that. So they're cuddling in bed and ending their day together. And that was it for the Malcolm Landgraab episode of season 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you also look forward to seeing how the restaurant will develop, because it seems like this was a success at the first attempt at it, and yeah, I for one am excited to keep going with it and see what we can do. So thank you so much for watching this episode, and see you next time. Take care. Bye.